Welcome to this Pixotope tutorial. In this video, we'll discuss Pixotope's control panels, what they are for, and how to create them. Control panels allow you to control and trigger any aspect or parameter of the engine without the need for coding. Our platform provides instant access to all engine elements within the control panel, enabling you to seamlessly drag and drop scene components, blueprints, properties, and functions into buttons, sliders, and more. The control panel editor lets you easily arrange and configure controls for the smooth operation of your production via a browser or mobile device. To create a control panel, go to the Launch panel for an open show. Click on Create New Control Panel and give it a name. Upon creation, the new panel will open in editor mode in your browser. Let's run through the user interface. First, we have the canvas. The canvas is the working area where widgets are drawn. Here you design the layout of your control panel to best suit your production. A control panel can have up to 9 panels. Use the navigation button to move between these panels, and the center button to move back to the center panel. You can also use the keys 1 to 9 to move between the panels, and C to move back to center. The Align button allows you to align selected items in your panel. Simply select what you wish to align and click the button. In the top right of the canvas, there's the Engine Selection button, where you select which engine to read from and which to send to. Select one machine to read from using the menu on the left, and select one or more machines to send to on the right. The View button allows you to preview your control panel and test it out. To the left of the canvas is the Shortcuts bar, where you can access the most commonly used widgets and functions for building a control panel. In the top left corner, you have the menu. Here you can save your control panel and open up required panels in the editor. The Actions panel lists all the available widgets in your control panel. Selecting a widget from this list will filter its actions on the right-hand side. The source is the value to send to the engine. The target is the editable property, action, or function you wish to control. You can drag and drop a source and target from the Properties panel, or double-click the source field to edit the value directly. On the right-hand side, we have the Properties panel. The Widget Properties tab allows you to browse through the widgets in your control panel and edit their properties such as font size and color. These properties can also be accessed by right-clicking on a widget from within the canvas. The Engine browser lists all the objects from your scene. When selected, the exposed properties for that object will appear here. The properties with a red circle next to them are editable and can be added to a widget to control. Finally, you can move and resize any panel as you prefer. You can also save multiple layouts in the top right corner. Click on Layouts, and then create a new layout to save your current setup. Now we have an overview of the editor interface. Let's take a look at some of the widgets on offer. Press T on your keyboard to bring up the widget toolbox. Let's start with a button. Select the button widget and draw it onto your canvas. I want to use the button to control the visibility of my 3D text. If I right-click on the button, I have the options to change the button's text, color, and to change the button to a toggle so that it acts as a switch. Now I'll use the Engine browser to locate the 3D text. And add the visibility property to the button. I'll also set the widget to be bidirectional so that it reads from the scene the current state of the target property. Next, I'll add a text field to change my 3D text. Again, I go to the engine browser and locate the text property and add it as the target of the text field. In my level, I have a blueprint which controls the rotation of my calibration cube. I'm going to set up some widgets in my control panel to control and trigger this action. I'll create a slider to control the speed of the rotation. In the engine browser, I will search for my blueprint and then for the exposed variable. I'll set it as the target and reduce the slider range to go from 0 to 10. Let's make the slider bidirectional as well, so that it reads from the scene. I'll also add a number widget, so I have the option to type in a value if I choose. I'll browse to the same variable and add it in. I'll also set this widget to be bidirectional, so it reads the value from the engine and updates accordingly. The listener widget monitors changes to the selected source property. To demonstrate this, I can set up a label widget to display the slider value. I do this by setting the slider value as the source and the text value as the target. And now the label widget will update with the value of the slider. Timers can be used to periodically trigger an action. I'll add the custom event function I created to rotate the cube as the target for the timer. I'll also make a toggle button to turn the timer on and off. To do this, I will take the timer widget property enabled and add it to the on-off actions for the button. And now you can see I can turn the rotation on and off and increase the speed. The value of the variable is displayed here, and I can also type it in to change it as well. The tabs widget allows you to switch between predefined values. With the widget drawn and selected, I will now browse to the list I want to control. I click on the list icon for the property, then confirm. And as you can see, it has populated the widget. But there's a problem. It has aligned the list horizontally, which is not ideal. I therefore need to right-click and change the orientation to columns. If I didn't want all these options taking up space on my panel, I could use a drop-down menu instead and follow the same steps. Select the widget, click on the list icon of the property and confirm. And finally, let's take a look at the playlist widget. You can use the playlist to sequentially play out actions in your scene. I have a blueprint that moves between 3 virtual camera positions. I'll use a playlist widget to play out these camera moves. Simply drag in actions into your playlist widget. When live, use the buttons at the bottom of the panel to run through the playlist. For more information on this or any other Pixotope subject, please visit the Pixotope Help Center, link in the description.